Good morning, Nigerian. Happy Sunday, and welcome to Breakfast Extra. Let me start with a simple question this morning. When last did you buy fuel and not say a curse word? Because right now, in parts of the country, petrol is selling between 1,220 and 1,380 per litre, and diesel, now climbing as high as 1,620, even pushing to 1,700 in some areas. Fuel is no longer just a necessity. She has become the real housewives of Lagos. So what does that mean in real life? Yesterday's price is not today's price. She is the boss in town. And somewhere in all of this, you hear it. It's because of the Middle East, Iran, Israel, the United States. It sounds far. It feels disconnected. But this morning, let's connect the dots. Because the world works like a domino effect, or better still, a ripple effect. You push one thing and everything else begins to move. Tensions between the United States, Iran, and Israel have pushed global oil prices up. And when oil prices rise globally, Nigeria feels it almost immediately. So here's how the ripple travels, from conflict to crude oil prices, to refinery cost, to petrol stations, to transport fares, to your pocket. And just like that, every decision made thousands of kilometers away ends up determining how much you spend, how far you can go, and even what you afford to eat right where you live. And beyond the economics, there's something else happening. Nigerians are watching and Nigerians are talking. On social media, the frustration is loud. 1,300 per litre? How are we supposed to survive? Everything is going up, but salaries are the same. Celebrities will post fashion, but won't speak about this hardship. There is a growing call-out culture. People asking, if you have influence, why are you silent? And some argue that when celebrities do speak up, it affects their careers, and maybe that's why others choose silence. But in times like this, silence feels loud. Now let's take a step back, because this movement is bigger than fuel. It is a reminder that we are part of a global system, whether we like it or not. And as Nigeria navigates this movement, it is also an important time politically, because today marks the birthday of our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR. Mr. President, we acknowledge your leadership and we wish you well. But beyond the wishes, there are questions. Since May 2023, your administration have taken bold steps: removal of fuel subsidy, unification of exchange rates, and efforts to improve government revenue. There have been signs of macroeconomic movement, including GDP growth in recent quarters and efforts to stabilize foreign exchange. But on the other side of the story, inflation has risen sharply. Food prices remain high. The naira has struggled. And for many Nigerians, the cost of living has become heavier than ever. So while the numbers may show progress, many Nigerians are still asking, where is the relief? And as conversations around 2027 begin to quietly take shape, the real question is this: what should Nigerians expect next? Will these reforms begin to translate into real everyday relief? Will the cost of living stabilize? Will the average Nigerian begin to feel the impact of these policies? Because Nigerians are not just asking for growth, they are asking to feel it. So today, as we reflect on rising costs, global tensions, and leadership, maybe, just maybe, the question is no longer, why is everything expensive? But how do we build a Nigeria strong enough that when the world shakes, we don't shake this much? Because yes, the ripple started far away, but the impact is right here in our homes, in our pockets, in our everyday lives. Happy birthday, Mr. President. And from Nigerians, we are watching We are hoping and we are asking. And again, I say good morning and welcome back to Breakfast Extra. And of course, as always, I am not alone. I am with Mazino Phil. Mazino, good morning.
Good morning to you, Queen Celestine. What a way to say happy birthday to the president. And of course, today we have a very interesting conversation with the people of the APC.
Yes.
So I guess altogether it makes for a very interesting gift to the president. Congratulations to him anyway. And yeah, I didn't know he was March born because I'm also March born.
So am I.
Oh, aren't we all in good company then?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Oh, come over. Let's all just celebrate
All
together.
right. I'm on my way. Good morning.
Morning once again and welcome. This is Breakfast Extra on a very interesting Sunday morning because it's a mix of all good things. First of all, it's Palm Sunday. And to all who are out for church this morning, well, good one on you. It's also the president's birthday and we have such a great, interesting conversation to have here today. I'm going to refer to my script here to find out, tell you that today's program will begin with a moment of reflection to the top of the nation's leadership as Nigeria marks the 74th birthday of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And we're going to be looking at some of the milestones that his administration has brought through. And of course, the reforms, the expectations, and also the continuum as it defines his time in office. Then we turn to politics and power as the All Progressives Congress holds its convention, national convention, yesterday in Abuja, a key event that could shape internal party dynamics and set the tone ahead of 2027. Beyond Nigeria, our focus will also shift to Central Africa, where global trade leaders are gathering in Yaoundé for the crucial World Trade Organization. We've had our correspondent, Chamun Debang, who was there at the event and still is at the moment. Across the country today, Christians mark Palm Sunday, signaling the beginning of the Holy Week, a time to reflect for faith and also renewed hope. Plus, we bring you updates from the Aso-C community, where tensions remain high following an alleged reprisal attack that has left residents in fear and raised fresh concerns about safety and also conflict resolution. It's a full programming this morning. Thank you very much for joining us. Queen Celestine is in building. Thank you very much. When's your birthday again?
Was March 18, right after yours.
Oh yeah, I remember. I was 17th and the president is, what's today now?
29.
29th. So after the show, we should all pack our bags and go to Aso Rock.
I agree.
It's lit by solar energy. There will be no breaks in transmission.
At all.
Item 7 will be served like it was in London during his visit. I think that was a post-birthday gift for him, you know, going there in March and everything. But congratulations to him. And congratulations to all Nigerians who will be celebrating APC. We'll have them with us on the show today as we take a look at their national convention from over the weekend and what we should be expecting as Nigerians and as they brace up for 2027, comparing them with other political parties and how prepared they are or not for the elections. So before that, however, I think we are going to be doing the dailies now.
We should.
All right, so let's get ready for the dailies. Welcome again. So let's start the dailies with the Sunday Punch newspaper. Front and center, big one. PDP convention holds amid crisis and after the APC's 2,500 delegates expected as state chairman disagree. I suspect that there's going to be plenty happening at the PDP convention because of the state of the party. I don't know if you agree with me, Queen. The APC's one, yeah, because the APC's one seems to be going quite swimmingly.
With 31 governors.
Yes. Now the
30-60.
The PDP, however, well, they get whatever's left. Whatever's left. And with everything that's happening inside of the party, I'm expecting that it's going to be a ruckus, a caucus of ruckus.
At this point, I feel like 2027 is just about to happen like tomorrow. I just want to see like what's happening and then let's just move forward.
It is here. We actually should brace up. There's more. Let's see. At the top there, 2027, Kwankwaso Kanu supporters joined ADC Monday. Oh, I peed on myself after kidnappers killed my colleague over ransom. Oh dear, Ekiti farm manager. That can be traumatic. I hope he heals from that. That's as much as we have on the front page for the Sunday Punch. I think the rest of it is a tribute to the president on his birthday.
Yeah. Well, let's look at the Sunday Telegraph, shall we?
All right.
And right there it says, Asiwaju we know, Tinubu we trust. And I'm sure that is a happy birthday wish from Senator Abdul Aziz Abubakar Yari. And right at the top, PDP, no court will nullify our convention, says Wike's faction. Turaki's groups appeal at court baseless. And presidency cabinet overall looms as resignation window closes. Ministers' appointees eye state NAS in 2027, and beside it, APC convention ridicules democracy. Ex-minister, party denies fake nomination from price list. Quite interesting.
All right. Most of the dailies this morning have front pages with the president on his 74th birthday. So does the blueprint for this weekend. Happy birthday. Happy 74th birthday, my president. Warmest birthday wishes as you mark your 74th. That is from, let's see, who's this from now? It's from, he'll send it in the mail. At the top, the unforgettable heroine, APC convention, we won't fail you. Yilwata assures Tinubu party how 3 NWC members lost to high-wired politicking, and Ekiti Osun caretakers, ESCOs, get 6 months tenure extension. At the very top, Akpabio to Tinubu, you're a leader with foresight and vision. Fraud charges while court discharged ex-aviation minister Stella Udwa, and Turaki-led PDP's appeal at the Supreme Court baseless, says Wike. He should know, he's a very good lawyer.
Of course, we're going to Sunday Independence, but I must say before I read this that birthdays are the only times you actually see people that know you and the people that don't know you wishing you well. And
I got a taste of that this year because it was the first time I actually openly acknowledged mine. So I know my enemies now.
Birthdays are so interesting.
They are.
So Sunday Independence, right there it says, Tantita Security Services Nigeria Limited is wishing our president a happy birthday. When I hear Tantita, all I hear is Mazino's voice.
Oh,
that's a discussion for another day. Political parties edgy over INEC's guidelines for 2027 polls. Nigerians decry absence of buffers against Iran war fallout. And PDP convention will hold as reconciliation continues, says Wike on page 3. That's about it.
All right, moving on now quickly. The Guardian newspaper. The weekend, once again, attributes to the president, APC governors, resounding victory in 2027 polls out on page 2. And of course, at the top, with Tinubu in power, change is not possible in 2027, says Chris Christian. On page 44, you'd find this one. Interrogation of Tinubu's renewed hope agenda with national development plan will improve, integration. It will improve living standards, says Ikpesu. And before Tinubu leaves northern elites behind. I'm wondering what that is about. It's on the back page for The Guardian. You might want to check it for a good read. Your turn. Is that all? I'm being told that that's all.
I guess all the news this week is the governor's, the president's birthday.
It's going to be much about the president, but I think there's also much more to think about as the PDP convention is also slated for this week, and we're going to be comparing. There's going to be plenty of comparison, but I think when it comes to the APC, it's less comparison with other parties, but more comparison about what exactly they've done for the people and what the people can look at and say, yes, you deserve a place for 2027. So I'm expecting that our guests will give us a good idea of why it is.
Help us with all the explanations.
All the explanations, all the questions that everyone's had. So let's look forward to that conversation.
Yeah.
That's it for the dailies. Let's get ready for our very first conversation this morning inside of Breakfast Extra. Is
See where you thrive in politics.
Is Mr. Angu with us? Can we see your video, please? Can we get your visuals? Please, you're muted. Please, can you unmute, please? Thank you very much, sir. Please unmute, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Please, can you pronounce your name for us? We can't hear you.
Angu.
Your name, please.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you. But can we have your name? Can you pronounce it for us? This is good. Thank you. Perfect.
Can you hear me?
Yes, but you need to be in the middle. You need to be in the middle of the screen. All right, slant it, position it down, bend it down. Guys, can you position?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. We can also see you, but we need you in the middle. We need you to sit up. Please show him.
Your voice at my end is spent.
Say again. Say again, please. What did you say, sir? Hello, can you hear us? Hello, can you hear us, sir? Hello, can you hear us?
If you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Your voice at my end is quite faint.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Our voice is faint.
Our voice is faint. Please, can you guys pump up our voice for him, please? Can you hear us now?
Just a minute.
Ava.
Can you hear us now, sir?
Put it on loud.
You're okay. Welcome back. Now, let's get to our very first conversation as we take a look at the APC convention from only just this past weekend. Nigeria's ruling party, the All Progressives Congress, has had its just concluded, highly anticipated national convention on Friday, and that happened in Abuja. Now, it stands as a key political event that not only determines party leadership, but also sets the tone for internal power dynamics ahead of the 2027 general elections. The convention, which is the culmination of months of congresses across wards, local government, state, and also zonal levels, is widely seen as a defining moment for the party's structure, its unity, and also its electoral strategy moving forward.
Right. And beyond the emergence of new members of the National Working Committee, the convention also raises critical questions about consensus politics, zoning arrangement, internal democracy, and how the APC intends to consolidate power amid growing political competition. This morning, we take a closer look at what this convention means, not just for the APC, but for Nigeria's broader political landscape. Mazino.
Indeed. And we do have a small package just before we go into our conversation. We'll be introducing our guests who's going to join us for this conversation, along with others who might be joining us after. But first, let's take a look at this.
It is the National Convention of the All Progressives Congress. Over 8,400 delegates from across the 774 local government areas of Nigeria converge on Abuja to elect the party's National Working Committee. Very important personalities among thousands of other party faithfuls are also present.
It's not going to be a competitive convention. It's going to be a harmonized consensus convention. And at the end of the day, we'll announce who is the winner and inaugurate them.
We're a big party, the biggest in Africa. And of course, you can't satisfy everyone. But what matters is we are very lucky to have an experienced leader. We don't envisage any problem.
After the preliminaries, relevant motions are moved to dissolve the existing National Working Committee and adopt the consensus model of voting, the party's choice as effectively captured by the Constitution. After motions were adopted, the President delivers his address.
To all those who will be elected today, carry the trust with humility, fairness, and unwavering commitment to our party ideals. Lead with courage, lead with integrity, and lead with vision.
Shortly after the President's address, the convention went into full swing. Having adopted the consensus mode, members meant to occupy the vacant positions were announced and affirmed through voice vote.
What we are about to do now is what the party allowed us to do by the Constitution, which is consensus affirmed through voice votes.
Upon swearing in of the excos, the newly elected party chairman delivers an acceptance address.
From this day, the weight of the burden of leadership to be provided for the millions of our members will now rest on us. That's why this heavy burden, I give you a clear and bold assurances that we will not flinch, we will not falter.
Other members also react to the outcome.
I must give great kudos to the planning committee
and the leadership of our great party for the excellent work they have done in putting this together. I mean, I'm very impressed. It's a very seamless national convention that has produced a brand new set of national officers of our party.
For me, the Congress is a huge success, and I know that come 2027, anybody that takes the flag of APC will be voted massively.
A total of 25 National Working Committee members, alongside 5 non-NWC members, 6 national ex-officio members from the 6 geopolitical zones were elected during the convention. With the conclusion of the All Progressive Congress National Convention and the election of its National Working Committee, it's safe to say all is now set for the leadership of the party to steer it towards the conduct and its participation in the 2027 general election. What's expected next is the primary election, where standard bearers for the party will be elected. From the National Convention ground of the All Progressives Congress here at the Eagle Square, Abuja, for News Central, Sagir Ibrahim.
Well, now let's talk to the members who might have been there, well, who were there, and some who represent the APC. Joining us today for a conversation not yet would be Bola Ibrahim, Director of Publicity of the APC, and also Abdullahi Haruna. He's a member of the Convention Planning Committee. But right now we have joining us Angu. He's a public affairs analyst and also, well, quite a gentleman. Angu, you're welcome. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. First off, it's very confusing to see you wearing that hat because I remember you from a different party. But let's talk about that later because there's plenty to talk about. So let's talk about the convention. By the way, welcome. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
The other beautiful lady in the studio.
Good morning.
Thank you very much.
Sunday and, thank you.
Yes, indeed. Let's get to the convention. Let's talk about what the convention is supposed to do and why Nigerians need to pay attention to this for 2027. It's supposed to elect and ratify members for the National Working Committee. It's supposed to shape internal hierarchy. It also signals a hold on influence ahead of 2027. And of course, we all know that the APC remains Nigeria's dominant party. You can see how many governors were at the convention. But apart from all of this, and right in the middle of this, Nigerians are asking very important questions. And one of those questions is that with the fact that Nigerians are dealing with rising food prices, Nigerians are dealing with currency pressures and all of that, they're asking why exactly should Nigerians give the APC another chance come 2027? We're going to start from here.
All right. Thank you very much. Firstly, I want to join you to wish Mr. President a happy birthday, to ask God for wisdom, for strength to continue piloting the affairs of this country. And back to your question, why Nigerians should vote for the APC in the face of the economic challenges Nigerians are facing. Firstly, I want to take the words of Mr. President. He told Nigerians that he'd come to do the hard job. And the hard job was that there will be ripple effects. And some of those ripple effects are what we are seeing now. Like recently he mentioned that, look, the war between Israel and Iran and the US, that war is going to affect the purchasing power of Nigerians. And that is actually happening. So this, Mr. President's economic reforms are not without a ripple effect on the citizenry. It is expected. But we want to assure Nigerians that, look, these are teething problems. We are in the lab. Nigeria is being fixed by Mr. President. And the problems we are facing as a people are problems that if this government is given the goodwill to continue doing what they are doing, Nigeria is going to be fixed. So Nigerians, we have to endure what is happening at the moment. It is momentary.
Okay.
It is not something that will be here forever.
Right.
Nigerians, we have to join hands together with the present leadership of our country to fix our nation.
Angu, I'm sure that Nigerians have been doing that, and Nigerians also note that it's been 3 years since they've given the APC a chance to actually fix all of this. But Since then, it's only gotten harder and harder, from minimum wage to fuel prices to insecurity, especially insecurity as we move closer to 2027. And that's what's bothering most people now. At the convention, how are these attended to? What specific indicators or what specific moments point out to the fact that the presidency has been trying the past 3 years to bring Nigerians succor for all the suffering that they've been going through? But Angu, I'm being told that we need to go on a break. I'm going to let you ruminate on that, and when we come back, you can give us an answer, and then we'll also introduce our other guests who are joining us one by one. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Breakfast Extra. Before the break, we're talking about the APC convention that has been happening, that's ongoing at the moment. And we have Angu Ongo, who's a public affairs analyst, who's already with us, and he was answering some questions. But we're now joined by Abdullahi Haruna, who's a member of the Convention Planning Committee. Gentlemen, thank you again for joining us. But Haruna, before we get to you, Mazino was asking Angu some questions.
Yes.
So Mazino, go ahead.
Angu, let's continue. Angu, I was asking at the convention what specific positions or what specific discussions were had that points to the fact or maybe the possibility that it's going to be better from now, especially for 2027. So Angu, if you could tell us.
Thank you very much. Conventions are opportunities for political parties to enunciate on their policy direction. And I would like to say that Mr. President, during his speech, was very clear on the policy direction the country is taking under his government. And this policy direction, you can use the recent tax reforms, is part of the policy direction. How can we bring a lot of people into the tax net? That is one of the policy direction. One of the policy direction is the NEFund, the National Educational Funding Scheme for Nigerian students, undergraduates in the universities, polytechnics, College of Education. That is the policy direction. Those are some of the areas we see that this present government is making sure that, look, we want to reduce the burden, particularly the issue of NEFund, the burden of funding education from the parents, from the shoulders of the parents. We want to take that burden off them by giving art students a credit, educational credit for them to go to school. And there are several of these programs available, several of these policy issues that have, some of them are passed through the National Assembly to become policy issues. In the area of green energy, you see what the policy direction of the president in the usage of CNG and electric vehicles, so that transportation costs will be reduced. So, conventions like that of the APC, just concluded that of the APC, are opportunities for the parties to draw out and tell Nigerians what they want to do, and that was clearly enunciated. Well, and I want to say personally, I'm very happy about the outcome of the convention. Should I say the former chairman that have been retained as the chairman of the party, Professor Natawi Bechua. He is a professional.
Angu, we'll try and save time, so if you can make your answer summary, because we really want to get plenty of questions in there. So congratulations. I hear what you're saying about the convention and what it plans for Nigeria after 2027, but that's the point. These sound like promises yet again. They sound like another campaign yet again. It doesn't seem like the convention was based on the performance of the past 3 years, what it has done. Instead, it's asking people to vote yet again for promises. But we'll come back to that. I think Queen has some questions for Haruna.
Based on all that, you've talked about what Angu is saying, I wanted to just ask Abdullahi that you were part of the planning committee. So can you just stress on, what was the major reason for the convention and how it affects Nigerians?
Yes, thank you very much for having me. Convention naturally happens so that the parties can actually have a focus. And that was the intention of the all converge on Abuja to make it happen. The idea is to strengthen the mechanism that strengthens the party. As we can see, all the parties came or the members or the delegates, governors, there wasn't anybody in the party that wasn't on ground at the Igbo Square that made it happen. So the takeaway essentially from that convention, it's a carefully, orchestrated display of party unity. We saw what it means to deliver on a mandate that was given by the people and a reaffirmation that happened. So beyond the convention, we can actually say that a semblance of unity was reestablished, confidence were strengthened, factional interests were settled, and there is what they call institutionalization of democracy. At least we saw a bottom-up Congress structure from world to zonal levels culminating to national leadership. This is what the APC did over the weekend, and it is a test with what will happen in the few days to come as the election draws near. So conclusively, we can say that a motion has been set and gains are being consolidated.
So, Arna, I think that what you're saying is that the APC's positioning for 2027, it had positions that were filled. And this is all well and good, but this still sounds like politicking. Nigerians are asking about jobs, their stomach, their welfare. They're asking about governance. Was anything about governance discussed at the convention? Let's know, please.
A lot of governance issues were actually raised, and you can actually take away that from, in fact, you had a situation where young people in the government were called to give account of their stewardship. And they did excellently well in terms of, small-scale enterprises. You saw a young man from the East who said that with little or nothing, he was empowered. And as we speak, he has a lot of people under his payroll. It shows that jobs are being created. It's a government that also came, like the earlier speaker said, educational opportunities are also given. So you can't say the party had not given Nigeria what it deserves. Governance is a continuum, it's a process. The decisions are hard, but they are being put in place. So we have barely 2 years or a year plus to the elections. A lot will happen. Like they always say, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step. So the question or the appeal is that Nigerians are expected to be calm. They should give the administration more time and see what will happen eventually. But with what I've seen, with the purposeful structure that I saw in the party, I'm very certain that the APC will take Nigeria to a more progressive stance. Like they say, when you farm, you have to reap, and the reap definitely will be very bountiful if all indications are put in place.
Once again, these sound like promises, and that's the problem. Nigerians are not seeing. I can say that Nigerians are not seeing these translate into their pockets or their well-being. If you speak of one man at the convention, well, that's optics. But what are Nigerians saying on the streets? Are they saying that governance is working? Are they seeing governance, or do they keep seeing politicking? That's my initial question. But in any case, do you think that this convention is what the APC needs to win the next election?
You can't go to a war without structural formation. There's no party that's going to a contest that will not prepare its house or put its house in order. So the APC, for the APC to do this, means they are actually ready to win the next election. Otherwise, it will have been rancor, imposition. But look at the consensus arrangement that happened at the Igbo Square. A lot of delegates came. Those with aspiring ventures came, and they entered into boardroom of negotiation. Before you say Jack, there was a consensus. That shows that this is a party that is ready to win the next election with all available resources, with all permutation strategies, and appeal to the voters. I think the APC is poised to sustain its grip on power.
You use the word consensus. Consensus means that they're all in agreement. All in agreement, why exactly? Is this because the governors or the members are forced to be in agreement at this convention? Because if you say they're all in consensus and agreeable, then what room does that leave for democracy? even internally, even inside of the APC. If it doesn't seem like people are sieving through what's good or what's bad or what's not good enough, then I don't think Nigerians feel represented, because they feel that there's so much going wrong and that these need to be discussed. If you have a consensus, it means everything is okay, let's move on to 2027. But Nigerians are angered by the fact that nothing's going right. Angu, I don't know if you want to take on that one.
All right, thank you very much. When you say nothing is going wrong, right, I think it's an exaggeration to say that. I think a lot of things are going right in this country. A whole lot of things are going right. And we should give credit to whom it is due. I would like to mention a piece of infrastructure. The road from Abuja to Lokoja, the construction work going on that road, the intercoastal road being constructed from Lagos to Calabar. These are legacy projects that will endure the test of time. Right? These are projects that will open up the rural communities or the state on that intercoastal region. So to make blanket statements like, okay, nothing is working, it is not being fair to the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and those that are working with him. Look at the reforms that have taken place within the Interior Ministry. You can now, within a number of days, get your international passport. These are the issues. So there will be no need making blanket statements. Okay, at the convention, nothing was discussed. Convention grounds are actually opportunities to enunciate policy directions of government. But like my gentle friend said, there are a lot going on. There are a lot of credit, for SMEs. For SMEs to grow in this country through SMIDA. So there is so much we can sit down here to enunciate. But to say that, look, the APC government is on track, government is a continuum, and we...
Okay, so gentlemen, Ango and Abdullahi, we will continue this conversation. Don't go anywhere. Let's go on a short break. When we return, I have a question for you, Ango. Stay with us. Welcome back. And of course, before the break, we were talking about the APC convention. And of course, we have Ango Ongo and Abdullahi. Gentlemen, so for me, I'm going to ask Ango. Ango, you talked about the legacy project, Lagos to Lokoja. You talked about crossover. So let's also include Leke Ekbe, the president putting structure in place. But you were once in PDP opposition, so what changed? What was the one thing that convinced you to cross over to the APC?
One thing that convinced me to cross over to the APC was when I saw the policy direction of government. Firstly, was on day one, when Mr. President made a bold pronouncement of subsidy removal. Subsidy was a crime not just against Nigerians, but a crime against humanity. And this was what President Jonathan wanted to fake out, so that funds will be liberated for the development of Nigeria. That was not possible at that point. But when Mr. President came in on board on the 29th of May, and he made that bold declaration that subsidy is over, from that moment, I knew that this is a man that is ready to take on the problems of Nigeria head on. And subsequently, I think for about a year before I officially went to my council ward in Benue State to tell my elders and resign, I saw several of those bold steps in way of policy directions being taken. And I became convinced that this man is the man that wants to build a modern Nigeria, a Nigeria that we don't eat our future. He's a man that has what we call sustainability in mind. that we are not eating our future now, but we are investing for generations yet unborn. So that was what convinced me. And I'm happy to be where I am now. By the time I see that the several bold steps is taken in many, many directions to put Nigeria on the global map again, as a great nation that we are.
Well, Angus, since we're on the topic of defections and political ideology, congratulations on your conviction for the APC. It shows that you actually thought that through. You felt that this wasn't working where you were, and if the president makes a declaration about, well, good governance, you're going to join them. But what do you say about the other governors and members who have cross-carpeted from other political parties, especially the PDP, into the APC? Would you say that they're bringing the same ideology? Would you say that they're embracing the ideology of the APC currently, or would you say that they're doing this out of survival or instinct? I'd like to get your note on this, especially how it affects the internal dynamics of the APC. Andrew, that's for you.
Thank you very much. You mentioned something very critical. You say, in politics, you will not take away personal survival. Every politician wants to survive politically. Having said that, there will be no Nigerian that sees the policy direction of the government, no matter how hard those policy directions are. Our leaders, past leaders, were not bold enough to take those bold steps to fix this country. But we have a leader, or we have a party now that is ready to take those bold and painful policy decisions that we, set Nigeria on the course for us to actually achieve our giant of Africa status. So all the governors moving to the APC, I would like to say that it is because they have seen the policy direction of those government, and politics is politics. All right. So you cannot be on another ship when you see that the ship is sailing correctly, and there is a good head, a good captain of that ship is sailing towards the right direction. Every right-thinking human being will want to jump ship, because the PDP you mentioned is a party in disarray. They are having a particular convention today. We don't know which leadership they have. The other convention held in Ibadan. There is one in Abuja today. And no politician will want to be a part of a sinking ship. No politician will want to be in a party that is full of turmoil. And, that is why I feel most of the governors are leaving, because they don't want to be embroiled in legal issues here and there.
Angu, thank you very much. Mr. Aruna, let's come to you now. Angu has just admitted that politics is also about survival, and that politicians will cross carpet because they need to survive. I'm wondering what you think about party ideology when people infuse their own fragmented and different ideas into a party that they claim is not a sinking ship. What's your take, Mr. Aruna?
Beyond party ideologies, the mainframe ideology should be the Nigerian ideology. Ideally, we should be guided by a principle that calls for progress, that calls for development. That is why we're first of all a nation. Our allegiance should definitely be the Nigerian project. So whether you are in the APC or any other party, it behoves on us first of all to pursue the Nigerian ideology, the Nigerian dream. So a lot of people think, belonging to the main party or going to election is all about winning. You don't go to election just primarily to contest. Political parties exist to shape policies. Political parties exist to provide framework for development for any society. And that is where we're getting it very wrongly. You can be in the APC and still not doing well. if indeed you're joining the APC because you want development for your people, it is a plausible, idea. But just like he said, you're coming in to better your personal life. I think that is where we're beginning to get it wrong. Before APC, there was the PDP, and we knew its eventual end and how things are actually spanning out now. So you should be reguided to the philosophy of our founding fathers, that we should first of all be ideologically inclined, using patriotic, zeal, so that we can sustain the nation. Whether APC, PDP, ABGA, and the rest of it, a day will come where these parties will fiddle out like we have seen in the time past. But the Nigerian project remains. So this is where we should begin to look at. If all the governors will begin to emulate the president, you will discover that the agitation for contest of political ideologies will naturally die down. But when we leave everything to the center and, things are left in the hands of nobody at the state and regional level, you discover that we're not pursuing any ideology. The number one ideology, which I believe is the Nigerian ideology. Any politician that wants to venture into politics must have something at the back of his mind to provide good governance, to represent the Constitution, to be fair and just in every undertaking, because mandate is like an oath given to you or a charge given to you to take care of. When you begin to abuse the mandate, you are not professing ideology. You're professing your own individual gain. You mustn't be in the APC to make sure that good governance happens. Those who are defecting from the other parties, what has been their trajectories? Are they doing this because the president wants them in the APC, or they are doing it for personal survival? This is what we should begin to look at. You can't be a governor and not
Aruna, why don't you tell us exactly? Aruna, why don't you tell us exactly what are they doing it for? You are in the party and you've seen them come in. I'm sure that there are certain interests or lack of from either party members or new members. You tell us, are they joining out of survival?
You can't rule out survival strategy. It's one of the attractions to this defection. Again, the man at the saddle is an infectious.
So if you say we can't rule it out, how does the APC manage the influx? Because right now it seems it's just open to anybody join. And it seems like they're counting on the numbers that these individuals are bringing in. And to Angu, I want to know, what do you think people think of you if they look at you from that same lens?
It's only in Nigeria that defection, when people defect from other political parties, it becomes a problem. Even in the United States of America, people defect here and there from different political parties. I've forgotten her name now. Is it Giba? Abigaba? One of the very prominent persons in the government of President Trump. She was a member of the Democrat Party. She was a Democrat before now. So politics is politics. And you did not join an occultic society that, you were under an oath not to, defect, or when you defect, you are punished or something. Politics is what it is. So people have the right to association. People have the right to also disassociate from a particular group or a particular people. And their interest, whether personal or general interest, is not being protected. And I mentioned here before, like the PDP. The PDP is reading with crisis. The umbrella party, the umbrella cannot cover anybody again. And politicians have to survive. I don't want to go and get nominated, and at the end of the day, they tell me that, okay, it was the other faction takes me to court, and, my nomination is nullified and all of that. We saw that happen in Zamfara. We saw that happen in a plateau. So there is no gainsaying, or there is nothing strange to say that, politics is survival. But like my brother and friend Haruna said, firstly, should be about Nigeria. What is your political trajectory? Are you bringing development to the system? Whether you have APC or your PDP, what are you doing to better the livelihoods of Nigerians is what should be of utmost importance. So the influx of people into the APC, I know there will be a lot of internal dynamics. People some persons will say, "Oh, we've been here before. He is just coming in and all of that." Yes.
Based on what you're saying, right? Because many Nigerians would say that this is sounding very principled, but it looks political, right? Where do you think you're going to draw that line personally?
Which line?
The line of the influx of people just channeling into the APC.
Yeah.
Where do you draw the line? Because
it's sounding principled, but it's political.
Angu, here's the thing.
We can't stop there.
Just a second, Angu. You're talking about the PDP in disarray. Just a second, please.
If people show interest to join the APC, there is no way the party will close their doors against anybody that wants to join the party.
But then, Angu,
politics is a game of numbers.
Angu, I hear what you're saying. But then again, in the same breath, you're saying that the PDP is in disarray. Look what's happening to them. They're bringing that baggage into the APC. They're different ideology that you do not agree with, and they're welcome into the APC. So that's very confusing. So where do you draw the line that says, okay, fine, you're welcome. You didn't do so good. You're not welcome. But it simply seems like it's open to everybody. And that's going to corrupt the APC structure or system. Do you not agree?
But I want to be very clear. Politics, as it is not morality. We are not discussing morality here. We are discussing politics. So if you come and say that they are bringing in baggage, what baggage are you talking about? All right? So it is not a moral class we are in here. It is politics we are discussing.
Yeah, but
it is power we are talking about. It's positioning. And the more the merrier. All right. So we will not stop anybody from coming into our party.
The more the merrier. Well, Abdullahi, I think my question now is, this convention that happened, was it about strengthening, democracy within the party, or it was about strengthening the control of the party?
We're talking about internal mechanism. The convention that happened is an internal way of strengthening the party called the APC.
Right.
So it's essentially excluded from the national realities talking about the nation. But the APC, putting his house in order. Like Angot made reference to the other political parties being in disarray. This is what the APC is trying to avoid. Like an attractive beehive, what do you expect? Nectar, like a nectar, people will definitely want to patron. So people are coming in great numbers. And that is why the APC quickly went into this convention so that they can address all the issues. Everybody will be accommodated, whether new or old, without any disgruntled dispositions. And the outcome of that is what we have seen. What they call internal democracy in the party has actually happened. The people who wanted vying, consensusly stepped down. And as we speak, you've not had any, of talking about disgruntled disposition so far. Everybody is okay with the arrangement. It means the APC is going to the next election very strong, very formidable, with everybody being carried along. Talk about the youth, talk about women, and all other shades of sentiment has actually been incorporated into this. This is what I call total inclusion. And there's no noise about it. It's a party that wants to win and consolidate on its mandate. There's nothing wrong with what it has done. It has put its house in order. People came from all over the federation, converged in Abuja, and elected their party leaders representing each of the states and zones. So it's not a thing where you say a particular region or state were lumped into this political party to carry the affairs of this. States were actually zones according to region, according to state, according to wards. So the representation you see as the outcome of the consensus is what the people sent. Is the agreement from the state level that culminated into this national consensus. So for me, the APC is poised to sustain its gains. And it's a good one for internal democracy.
Okay. Aruna, I'm going to take your exact words. You says the APC is moving into 2027 elections as a strong party. Yet again, it's that rhetoric. It always points to politicking. Nobody is saying anything about governance that came out of the convention, and that's the part that actually Nigerians want to hear. How is it going to affect me? What policies are going to be made that will make me want to vote for the APC? Instead, what we hear is the APC is strong, it's stronger than other parties, we're going to take 2027. That's politicking. It's not governance. So if you can help me out here so that I understand why the strength or why the attention seems to be more on politicking, restructuring the party, making it stronger, counting the numbers that each of these defecting members are bringing in, instead of what can we do for the people?
What can be done for the people is already a work in progress. Remember, this is not a general election campaign or convention. This is a convention for the party. It is a message that was passed to the members of the APC. And they are saying that believe in this system, the president is ready to take us to a progressive level. The Renew Hope agenda has not been discarded. It has not been slowed. It is a motion that is still in progress. Believe in it so that Nigerians can gain more from it after the election. So we should understand the rhetoric here, because we keep using our rhetoric. The reality is that it's a reaffirmation to the party members, so APC members, that we are actually on board. Your yearnings, your aspirations, your suggestions, your fears are being addressed. That is why we converge on Abuja to make this commitment. So if a convention of a party members who are of the same family that happen without a fight, without a disagreement, I think it shows that the party is ready to consolidate on its mandate. We have barely 2 years to election, meaning governance is still running. It has not distracted or disconnected from the mandate given to the president in 2003. Let's have that. So it's not a new thing. It's a reaffirmation of what the president is doing. We've made references to tangible infrastructures. The road infrastructures are happening. In Abuja, where I stay, we've seen the transformation, the reform that greets us. I've been in Abuja for nearly 40 years, and I've seen what progress is all about. If you may hate the president, you may hate his face, or the man he put in charge in the FCT, but you see what the FCT is turning to. That is the kind of tangible measurement that we should be talking about governance, not just the politics behind it. Let me take you to a situation where we are not even talking about. Our mineral resources used to be a free-for-all. Every interest group, not actors, will converge and be pilfering, looting our natural resources. The president came on board and put a block to that mess. What did he do? He established what they call the special mining marshal, principally, established to tackle the issue of illegal mining. As we speak today, Nigeria is not just relying on oil, but we have actually diversified into other resources, talking about our solid mineral resources. And the mining marshal guys are doing a yeoman job. These are the things we should begin to look at, not the everyday rhetorics or we don't have power, we don't have this. These things will happen, but we should also be looking beyond them. There are other intangibles that we should be talking about, like the revolution in the mining industry. A lot of people don't know that, we are gaining, Nigeria is gaining a lot in that sector. We should also begin to look at the security situation. Imagine if not for concerted, consolidated effort, what would have happened? So we should give the present administration that support, that backing, so that things can actually happen. I hate to always discuss the problems of Nigeria. We all know that Nigeria has a problem, just like any other nation. But we should also be talking about the solutions, the way out. It pains me that every day we talk about we're doing politics. We're talking about political decisions. We're not talking about development issues. The political parties are not engaging in constructive criticism. Nobody is giving a template for reference. I remember during the early republic, how late Obafemi Awolowo, as an opposition leader, was making policy in pari passu with the federal government. In fact, at a point, the policy of free education became a national slogan and emanated from the opposition. That is the kind of robust opposition that we should be expecting as a nation, not the struggle to only grab power. You lost an election in 2023. Since that very day, you have been consistently talking about changing the government. Do we just exist for political gains, for offices? We do not exist. We would exist for survival of the nation. When politics is over, elections are over, we should collapse our interests into one and begin to offer solutions. How can the insecurity issues be tackled? What is the position paper of the ADC? What is the position power of the ABGA? What is the position power of the PDP? This is what we should be talking about: political engagement, political enlightenment, not about taking over power. Where are you taking the power to? Out of Nigeria? Whether the opposition wins today, we all remain in Nigeria. We must begin to reason as patriots first before reasoning as political party members.
Aruna, we've been trying to get your attention for a while. We've been trying to get your attention for a while, but you haven't let us in. Our apologies. But Aruna, if you can hear us now, yes, you have spoken well. No one is saying that the present administration hasn't done well in terms of infrastructure or this or that, but there are other aspects which it's failing, one of which is security, whether you like it or not. It's also failing when it comes to communication. It had to take you here to mention some of the specific items that are being done by the government. People don't know this. So where is that communication with governance and the people? It does not exist. Maybe if people knew a bit more, understand a bit more of what this present administration is trying to do, they will embrace it more. And that should be the focus for the parties, what they're arguing. Let us know what your intentions are, instead of going about looking for more members to consolidate numbers for an election. That's why this is a very important conversation to have. No one is saying that the APC is not doing well, but where can they do better? Let that be the louder conversation instead of this is what we want to do for 2027. That's all we've heard. What has happened for security? Not much. We've seen the embrace with the American, with the US, but what are they doing exactly? Instead, we're seeing insecurity rise in the north. There are many conversations to be had. Unfortunately, this hour is not enough for us to have all of them. We hope that we can have this conversation again with you two gentlemen, and maybe even more. So we'd like to say, Mr. Aruna, thank you very much. Mr. Anga Ongu, thank you for having this conversation with us. There is much more I'd like to know about, and I do hope that the APC sets up an apparatus for communication to the average everyday man so they know exactly what it is that they are going to do. Thank you very much for this interesting conversation.
Thank you,
gentlemen. Queen?
Yes, Mazino, you have spoken well. I need to say, before we go to the next conversation, just believe me when I say politics makes Mazino's blood boil. It doesn't make my blood boil, because really, I cannot. I cannot. But that was an amazing conversation, you know, just bringing out everything that needs to be had. Nigerians are concerned. We're worried. Why should we vote for you? Why is everybody just flying into the next party? But anyway, we'll have conversations. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, story continues.
Let me jump in there, Queen, if you don't mind.
Yes.
I think instead of a break, let's jump to, I think, Kogi State, where we have Mono Balagbebo, who's waiting. Because today is a special day. Not only is it the president's birthday, it's also very significant for Christians across the world. Well, Christians in Nigeria, especially here, while we're here on this Sunday, it's a significant day for them. The calendar that commemorates the triumphant entry of Jesus Christ into Jerusalem. Now, the day signals the beginning of Holy Week, a period of deep spiritual reflection and prayer, and also preparation leading up to Easter Sunday, which will be next weekend.
And from processions with palm fronts to special church services and moments of reflection, Palm Sunday has been observed in different ways across the country. And to get a sense of how the day has been marked across the country, we're now joined by our correspondents in different locations. Of course, we have Mono Balagbebo. Mono, happy Palm Sunday.
Is that the greeting?
Happy Palm Sunday, Queen.
Yes. Can you describe the atmosphere where you are?
Yes, thank you.
It's celebratory, I must say. And it calls for a deep reflection. Behind me, you can see parishioners coming out from the church. I'm live here at the Immaculate Conception Cathedral Church in Lokoja, and a lot of parishioners are gathered. I think they're done with the first Mass. This is the second Mass. The crowds are going out for the procession. We will catch on quickly with that. But I think there is another Mass that will continue shortly. But just to give you a feel of the atmosphere, I've got some of the worshipers who are here with me. Madam, if you could come quickly into my shot. Good morning. What's your name?
My name is Miss Ifoma Obeta. I'm a parishioner here.
You need to come to the front. Okay, so you look at the camera.
All right.
Can you quickly tell us what Palm Sunday means to you?
Yes, actually, Palm Sunday means to me, what it means to me is that Jesus Christ is being recognized as a expected Messiah. Because initially, a lot of people were confused about Jesus Christ. But today, being Palm Sunday, it shows that Jesus Christ is what? A Messiah. Because even the people of Israelites, today like this, some of them were putting their palms on the floor. Some of them were putting their clothes on the floor. And he rode on a horse, which shows that he is the expected Messiah. Yes. So Jesus Christ today, I'm seeing him today as a expected Messiah. That's what it means to me. Palm Sunday means to me that Jesus Christ is expected Messiah.
All right. If you could quickly tell us the significance for the Catholic Church.
One of the significance of the Catholic Church is symbolized that, one, as a Catholic Church, we must do the needful. We must make sure that we keep doing good. Because despite the fact that what they did to Jesus Christ, he never gave up. So as a Catholic, we will keep on doing what is expected to do, to be a Catholic member. Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Quickly, Mazino, if we have enough time, we have one of the stakeholders in the Immaculate Conception Cathedral Church here. Good morning, sir. Can you just tell us your name?
Thank you so much. I'm Dr. Julius Atabo. And rightly, as you said, we're at Immaculate Conception Catholic Cathedral, Lokoja. And today, as we all know in the world, in the history of Catholic Church, today is Palm Sunday, the triumphal entry of Jesus Christ into Jerusalem on White Horse, and today is the beginning of Holy Week. Thank you.
All right. So, as a Catholic, how significant is Palm Sunday for all Catholics today?
It's essential and it's a key part of the Catholic Church that we must participate in it as a Catholic. It started from then, from our Lord Jesus Christ, with the palm, with the triumphal entry, as I've earlier said, into the Jerusalem. It's significant and it's more important to all Catholic worldwide.
So quickly, what was the message today?
The message today is all about Christ. The message today is all about forgiveness. And the message today is all about peace. Thank you.
All right. So the procession is about to begin. So what do we expect to see?
As you see, you can see this is the commencement of the second Mass. There are a lot of mama crowd at the other side of the church who are moving straight to the venue to ensure we fulfill all righteousness. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
All right. Thank you so much for speaking with us. All right. It's back to you, Mazino and Queen. I will take a few seconds to make my way to where the procession will be taking place and get to show you visuals of Palm Sunday observance right here at the Immaculate Conception Cathedral Church in Lokoja.
Thank you, Mono. Thank you, Mono. Mazino,
yeah?
Why are you excited?
I'm excited because Mono is very excited.
It's Palm Sunday.
It is. So I think he's doing that more for himself than for New Central.
Look at you. But again, they mentioned that Jesus rode a horse. He rode a donkey.
It was a donkey.
Let's be clear. Of course, we have Chinwe Ogele standing by. Chinwe, happy Sunday and happy Palm Sunday. Can you tell us where you are and what's happening there?
Happy Sunday, Queen and Mazino. I'm at the Mater Dei Cathedral Church here in Omaha, Abia State, where the parishioners had just done the procession. They've processed for Marian Shrine into the cathedral right now. So they are inside the church for the proper Mass to begin.
Okay, well, Chinwe, I was wondering if you have anybody there we could speak to. We got the excitement from when we spoke to Mona, and we're hoping if there's anybody who's excited there to be on TV to tell us what Palm Sunday means to them. Well, you'd have to express all the excitement for us then, in any case. But in the East, I'm wondering what it is like, because we know that is a big population of Christians there, especially of the Catholic order. So I'd like to know what the different denominations are celebrating like. Do you know? Have you been around town to find out?
Well, I've been in this church because they are ones that start quite earlier than other denominations, the Catholic Church. So, and the celebration is usually solemn. A lot of people are expectant of what the street is going to look like. Like it's day that shares in the week, talking about the Passion of Christ. So for Catholics especially, because they are the ones who actually take the celebration to another level. Everybody entered this premises today came in with a palm leaf or leaves, as the KD. And there was the blessing of palm by the bishop, Most Reverend Michael Carlo. And of course, the reading of the gospel, the first gospel. But then they are gone inside the church to celebrate the proper mass. So everyone is solemn. It was quite a beautiful procession that they had here. And the people are all waiting to hear the gospel. And of course, the sermon, that is the homily that will follow the gospel.
Well, Chinwe, thank you so much for the update. Hopefully we'll get to see someone close to you. While we figure that out, let's move to...
Kirawa, Umaru Kirawa. Umaru, good morning. Can you hear us, Umaru? Please tell us where you are and what Palm Sunday is like at your location.
Yes, a very good morning to you all. And if you can see behind me, everybody in Maiduguri knows this place.
Maiduguri.
It's the St. Patrick Church Cathedral in Maiduguri, where just like other parts of the world, the Christian community here converged different churches to observe the Palm Sunday ahead of the Easter celebration. And it's just like it has been clearly stated in the different Gospels of Mark, Luke, and John, that this is historic. But we have the cathedral administrator of the St. Patrick Church Cathedral, who will be telling us more with regard to the significance of this day. And of course, you will see behind me that a lot of worshippers are praying, singing, smiling, and so many of it. So, first, what's it like for the Christian community here in Borno?
For us, that was in Maiduguri. Is a moment of joy, it's a moment of hope, because there is nothing other than having a celebration with the people in peace. Today's celebration, according to the gist of the church, is a celebration that talks about the triumph of Jesus Christ in the creation. And while he was doing that, he entered Jerusalem not on a war and trust, but rather on a donkey, which is a symbol of peace and humility. And this is what we are created for. Not only in Maiduguri, but in the whole world. We pray that these years of Passion will bring about trust, will bring about food, so not for the Maiduguri, but in the whole world. Now that we are praying for peace, it is also a moment whereby we Christians, the Catholics, have been invited to reflect our relationship with God and respect to what? Humility, respect to what? Truth, and in respect to the reconciliation for our hope in Christ Jesus. Because this is the summary of our Christian faith. The journey to Christ was Calvary, where our salvation has been.
Okay, it's quite good to know that the celebration is hinged on the fact that Jesus Christ, peace and blessings be upon him, entered Jerusalem on a horse, and people welcomed him with waving the palm tree. How could you describe the celebration this time in Maiduguri, the state capital?
Actually, I will say that, as I rightly mentioned, not on a horse, but on a donkey. Yeah, people go for war on a horse, but Christ entered Jerusalem on a donkey. So here, as you know, recently we had explosion here. People are in fear, but with this, there is a calmness, there is a kind of hope that yes, we have gathered together as one family to worship God, despite what is happening to us. And we believe that in doing so, God our Father, His presence will continue to lead us in the path that will lead major things in this state. Besides this, there's another message. My message to the entire world is that let us continue to be united. Let us be prayerful people. And let us try by all means, especially in these difficult times, pray for each other. Live as one family of God. People who have conditional love for one another as we journey towards the restoration. Thank you and God bless you. Thank you.
So that has been the priest and cathedral administrator of the St. Patrick Cathedral Church here in Maiduguri, advocating for sustainable peace and effort by individuals across different geographical locations, religious divides to unite and coalesce into a single force and unite towards peace as has been advocated by the Prince of Peace.
Kirawa, I'd like to come from a personal angle now. Only just a couple of weeks ago or days ago, we actually came to you and we were talking about Eid, which you celebrated personally as well. So now I'd like us to look at this from the international perspective. Borno has been known to be one of the hotspots in Nigeria when it comes to insecurity. So tell us what it is like now, Christians celebrating Palm Sunday, and we'll be celebrating Easter very soon, in light of the international claim of Christian genocide. Can you paint a picture, and hopefully it's a beautiful picture, of what it is like to celebrate Palm Sunday in Maiduguri?
Well, I will just say picture speaks, or rather video speaks much more louder than voice. And if you can see behind me, you'll see members of the Christian community, the Christendom, here in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, smiling, wearing new attires, dresses, smiling, carrying their palm in commemoration of the Palm Sunday in Maiduguri, the state capital. So this speaks of the situation on ground, and it speaks about how the Christian community here in Borno are living in peace with their brothers and sisters, the Muslim community, and other people of other faith, because there are other peoples of other faiths in Maiduguri, the state capital. So largely it's peaceful. Yes, there has been challenges. There was explosion a few weeks ago, and there was serious incident of insecurity, but there is progress. If you see on the side of the military countering insurgency, over 80 insurgents were killed in Malamfatori, and recently over 38 were killed in Mandaragrau, among other communities. And hopefully, we hope communities will go back to their ancestral homes, particularly those that were displaced in Goshe and other communities, because if you monitor the situation, we were in Goshe last week with the governor of Borno State, where they assessed the situation, and hopefully he says the government and the Borno State will build back better. And that is the message of Senator Mohammed Ali Dume, also countering the issue of genocide, that there is nothing like genocide. In fact, in the issue of Ngoshe, 27 people were killed. 3 were Christians, the rest were Muslims. And Senator Alindume says this goes to speak with regard to countering issues of genocide. But be that as it may, a life of an individual is not worth to be killed, whether a Christian, whether a Muslim, whether a non-believer. That has been the cause, and that has been the call by all here in Borno State.
Well, Kirawa, thank you very much for bringing us these details, especially on a day like this. We hope that the celebration continues without event. The only event should be a good one. Thank you very much. Kira, by the way, did you know that Queen is ecstatic about your work? She loves your accent, loves everything about you. Queen, am I lying?
You're not lying. And he
Let me use that language of... Anyway, let me just keep... I was thinking I will see you with your palm. Unfortunately, maybe...
Don't worry,
we'll
I will wave it. I will wave it and send you a picture after.
We'll go get one from our side. Thank you, Kirawa.
Thank you, Kirawa. Well, I'm hoping that, before we start the next conversation, the break I was looking for earlier is going to happen now. So let's go on a break, and then when we come back, we start the next conversation.
All right, then.
And we're back. And this is Breakfast Extra. And a big story. Trade ministers from across the world are currently gathered in Yaoundé, Cameroon for the 14th Ministerial Conference of the World Trade Organization, a high-stakes meeting taking place at a critical moment for global trade. From rising geopolitical tensions to shifting economic alliances, the global trading system is under pressure, and this meeting's expectation is to shape the future of international commerce. For Africa, this conference carries even greater significance. It is not only an opportunity to push for fair trade rules and development-focused policies, but also a moment for the continent to assert its position in a rapidly evolving global economy. Key issues on the table include WTO reforms, digital trade rules, agriculture, and support for developing economies, all of which directly impact African markets and growth prospects.
So, joining us now live from Yaoundé is our business correspondent, Chamoun Debeng. Chamoun, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us, Chamoun. Now, I'm aware there's a delay, so we'll have that in consideration. Chamoun, please set the scene for us. What is the atmosphere like in Yaoundé, first of all, right now? And how significant is this a meeting for global trade discussions?
I would say that it's very busy, it's very intense, it's purposeful all at the same time. There is so much that's going on here. It's been going on for the last 3 days. This is the 4th day, and today is going to be rounding up. But we have delegates, we have ministers from about 160 different countries, all locked up in rooms, trying to negotiate and reshape and redefine the way that global trade is going to look like in the future, especially with the fact that there are high geopolitical tensions, there's economic fragmentation, and there's so many other issues. A lot of nations have actually lost trust in multilateral trading. So if these discussions go well, if the negotiations go well, then there could be a very pivotal moment for the World Trade Organization and reestablishing itself as a powerhouse when it comes to grounding global trading rules.
Right. And of course, this is the first time such a major, WTO ministerial is being hosted in this region in recent years. What does this mean for Africa's, visibility and influence in the global trade negotiations?
All right, so the move to have the ministerial conference in Yaoundé, it's a very strategically calculative one. It carries a lot of symbolic weight, and it's an opportunity for Africa to show its own voice. It's no longer being sidelined as just a mere participant. We're no longer just sitting down in the hall. It's an opportunity for African leaders to come out and actually make a statement and play a part in redefining this agenda. The last time that this meeting happened in Africa was in 2015, and we're talking about 14 years that this ministerial conference has been ongoing, and this is just the second time. Since then, it's been in the Middle East, it's been in Asia, it's been in Europe, and luckily, we now have it here in Africa. So it's an opportunity for African ministers to shed light on some of the unfair trading rules that have been put out that has left several developing nations completely disadvantaged, and one of them being the rules around agricultural subsidies. Several European, or let me not say European, but developed nations can actually afford to subsidize heavily their farmers. But unfortunately, developing nations do not have that capacity. So several farmers end up being undercut and end up losing out on a lot of money in that regard. So it's time, and there's so many other issues. This is just one example. There's issues around industrialization, there's issues around revenue collection, there's so much more. And this is an opportunity for Africa to take a stand and redefine that and make a shift towards improving the economy within the continent.
Chamoun, there's plenty of talk about e-commerce. I'm wondering whether this made any conversation at the forum there. What did they say about e-commerce, and especially focused from the Nigerian perspective?
All right, so it's a very controversial topic. So the e-commerce agreement has been in moratorium since basically 1998, and we're talking about the emergence of the internet at that point. So it's been a moratorium for quite a few years. And one of the biggest issues that a lot of nations, especially developing nations, have with the e-commerce agreement is that it affects revenue collection. For lots of developed or digitally infrastructurally developed nations, it's not really an issue because they have the infrastructure to allow them to go on with it. So it's been heavily championed by a lot of European countries and more developed nations. But when you come to India, India, when you come to African countries, of course, they have issues with that. Because, like I said, it's affecting revenue collection. From a Nigerian standpoint, well, I guess we do have an understanding as to what our digital infrastructure looks like. It still requires a lot of development. And if at the end of the day we're not able to put up that digital infrastructure to allow us to compete on a global stage, there's a lot of money that can be lost. So, like I said, the Africans are here. Our minister is here as well. So hopefully, she's putting in that attention and putting in the right negotiations that will work out for Nigeria at the end of the day.
Chairman, what about the drama that's happening in Yaoundé? Tell us about it. Is the African Union, the African countries, are they putting up a united front? What does it seem like? Or do you think that we might have a few divisions here and there from all the processes that have happened? Tell us.
All right, so when you talk about being unified, I would say they're unified in principle. There are certain things that they will agree on. For example, issues surrounding agriculture and food security, issues surrounding dispute resolution, as well as expecting some sort of special and differential treatment because they're developing nations, and as well as expanding access to the market. So these are areas that they do agree on, but in the sense of, or when you look at the details and the nitty-gritty of it, every nation that is here, every African nation that is here, is looking to improve its own national priorities. So they're more about themselves. So there is a general thing that they agree on, but not every single bit, because they do have to think about how to protect their own economy and how to boost their own economy. So I'm saying they would probably have to find some way to agree, if not most likely be at loss.
I hear the skepticism in your voice, but I use the word drama in the stats specifically or deliberately because it would seem that, and you use the word yourself, it would seem that we are always referred to as developing countries, where it seems like the rest of the world wants a piece of Africa lately. Everybody seems to be forming friendships and alliances with African countries because of what they can get from them by way of minerals or even manpower. So I'm wondering how they've positioned themselves, especially as a united Africa, to the world here. If that's not happening, I don't know, what's your take on how this could be better presented as an African front?
Honestly, I would say probably they should have had their own little pre-meeting before showing up here to sort of create some sort of unification and establish what they want out of other international bodies, but unfortunately I doubt they did that. And even more sadly so, I'm not privy to a lot of the negotiations that are going on. It's within a very restricted area, so I don't get to hear the priorities coming out from different places. But they do have to find a common ground. You know, like you said, everybody wants a piece of Africa, and you can't just keep throwing everything out, because what happens to your own domestic economy, what happens to your own domestic industries. So they do need to take a unified standpoint here because, well, they're amongst the developing nations, so they need to protect themselves.
Yeah. Chairman, you talked about agreements, which, you know, it was mostly agriculture and some other things. So what areas of disagreement we had there? Can you share some key areas that wasn't agreed on?
There were a few areas where there were disagreements. Definitely, there's no possible way that there wouldn't be any form of disagreement here. And one of them was dispute resolution. That was a very major thing, because apparently within the WTO, it takes what I can only describe as yayus to actually settle trade issues. And there's also issues around development status, basically nations referring to themselves or self-designating themselves as developing countries. How long are they going to keep referring to themselves as such? Because you have the major economies, you know, putting out their own arguments as well and saying, you know, we want to move forward with this, but then, you know, the developing nations are basically holding them back in establishing certain trade rules. And there's also issues around decision-making processes. It seems that a lot of it has been based solely on consensus, but nations are asking for more flexibility and being more respective to certain economic differences.
Okay, Chairman, I think my final question to you would be about intra-African trade. I know this is the World Trade Organization, it's for the entire world, but Specifically for Africa now, I'm wondering what challenges were discussed when it comes to countries trading with their partners within Africa, or the different segments of Africa, West Africa, Eastern Africa, or even Northern Africa. Were there any discussions or challenges or resolutions that were reached or policies that were suggested?
Unfortunately, I'm not privy to that information. Like I said, it's highly restricted. There are only certain areas that I'm allowed to enter, which is mostly within the public space as well as the press conferences. But so far, none of the press conferences have actually made any mention to, the question that you're asking. The only answer that we've gotten so far is an agreement on the e-commerce. The e-commerce agreement. That's the only thing that we've gotten an answer so far, where the WTO has found a way to establish the agreement or enforce the agreement through an interim pathway. So that's the only thing that we have an answer to right now.
All right. Chamun Bang, thank you very much for representing us in Yaoundé. We hope to have you back soon. And don't worry, there's a full, what do you call it now, reset for you to give you some rest after now, because you've been hardworking all week. We've been with you in and out all through. Thank you very much, Chamun.
Oh, I'm definitely taking that. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you. All righty, now let's take a break. We've got one more or a couple more segments for you where we have very interesting conversations with our guests. We will be right back.
It's been a beautiful day having different conversations, of course, but we're now going to go back to Palm Sunday as Christians across Nigeria are celebrating. And then we have our correspondent all the way in Benin City, Ameze Bazoye. Ameze, happy Sunday. Can you just talk to us about what's happening in Benin City right now for Palm Sunday?
All right, thank you so much. Happy Palm Sunday to you as well. It's been an exciting day. It's also been a reflective day. Christians across different parts of Benin City and Edo State, by extension, are celebrating Palm Sunday in a grand style. We get to see some persons going out on the streets to reenacting what actually happened in the Bible, where, of course, the day that Jesus made a triumphant entry into Jerusalem. Of course, we know how it went. It was on a donkey, and of course, people spread palm fronds on the ground. We can see a lot of Christians today, worshippers in different churches, most especially the Catholic churches and the Pentecostal churches, actually going about holding palm fronds just to signify the day in particular. It will interest you to know that this morning it rained quite heavily, and that did not deter persons in Benin from going to church. I'm going to be talking with one worshiper here, Mr. Ifeanyi. Good morning. Just talk to us a little bit. You went through the period of Lent. There was fasting, and of course today we're celebrating Palm Sunday, which is a follow-through to the Holy Week. Just talk to us a little bit about what the significance of today is for you.
Thank you very much, Amanda. Palm Sunday or Passion Sunday are something that commemorates the triumphant entry of Jesus Christ into Jerusalem. Now, it will shock you to know that on this day, while people spread palms and welcome Christ willingly to their homes, to their houses, through the streets of Jerusalem, he rather took a dramatic speech on Good Friday, where him again will be stoned and accused by the same people. Right here, the significance for us is that it builds our faith. It reminds us of exactly what happened years ago. It is the beacon of our faith. And right here in St. Paul's Catholic Church, it has been a fantastic celebration. The priest had led the service that begins outside the church. Now it's inside. There was blessing of palms, the fire sang kings, sang hosannas. And yes, it's a very, very blessed day for us.
Okay, so earlier I talked about the fact that it rained heavily this morning. Did that disrupt service in any way here?
Absolutely not. I mean, we trust us to know that just today we've had two masses, like one is ongoing, one just going. And through the rain, through it all, Catholics see and defended their faith. And that's something that is very, very impressive to see.
All right, so we're gearing up to the Holy Week, of course, Good Friday, Easter Sunday, and of course, Monday as well. Talk to us a little bit about the significance of that period and how should Christians prepare themselves for that particular period.
Thank you very much again, Amanda. Actually, today is Passion Sunday earlier. We have commemoration of the Passion of Christ. Now, we are not talking about the visual video at this point. We're talking about the actual Passion, where the Passion actually starts on this day. And it will lead us to Good Friday, where we will have a grand station of the cross. So we take the weight of the cross. This will be at the streets of Dolorosa, where Christ was stoned, beaten, and all of that. And then we'll have something called the veneration of the cross during that we choose to call it a service. But before that, after Sunday, this Sunday, we would have Holy Thursday, or some would call it Monday, Thursday, where the move is on it, right? It prepares us for the pattern that actually continues on Friday. After which we will have the pastoral video on Saturday evening. It's actually called the Service of Light. Pascal in Latin actually translates to light, where there will be a grandiose celebration of the resurrection. And of course, next Monday is Easter Sunday and Cyprus Day.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So that's basically what we're doing here in Benin. A lot of persons are celebrating. You heard from him directly the significance of Palm Sunday and, of course, the Holy Week, which we're gearing towards. In different parts, in different churches across Benin City, it's the same spirit, it's the same reflective spirit, it's the same celebratory spirit as well. A lot of Christians are out. I would have shown you, but because they're inside, you get to see a lot of persons holding palm fronds, even as well as babies are holding palm fronds just to signify today. Back to you in the studio, basically.
So much, Emeze, for that update. And it's indeed, Nigerians are really super excited, especially when it comes to, activities like this and honoring Jesus on a donkey. Well, thank you for joining us, Emeze.
Thank you. Now, I guess it's time to take a break because coming up, we are going to be having the strips now, aren't we? You're a bit too excited.
Strips is my favorite. So let's go on a break, and then we have Mazino on the other side while we discuss. See you in a bit. I know you're waiting for the strips, but don't worry, in a few minutes, we're going to start that. And we have our correspondent, Joshua Imarai, on standby to tell us about Palm Sunday, where it is. Hello, Joshua. It's so good to see you. Happy Sunday and happy Palm Sunday. Can you just tell us what's happening in the atmosphere where you are and what state are you in?
Well, good morning to you, Queen. I'm currently live at the Central Cathedral Church, the Celestial Church of Christ Central Cathedral in Abuja. This is the northern headquarters for all Celestial Church of Christ in Nigeria. And what we are seeing today is the Palm Sunday. The Palm Sunday marks the beginning of the Holy Week that will lead to the Holy Thursday, the Good Friday, and the Easter Sunday. Now, if you should look behind me, you see a couple of the church members, the Christian faithful, with their palm front that signifies the Palm Sunday. They are just commencing service. Earlier on, they took a round turn around the church, particularly to commemorate the triumphant entry of Jesus Christ into Jerusalem. So what we are seeing now is that they are about to commence the service. It is a special service for the fact that it is Palm Sunday, and as you can see, they are ready on their way into the church. Queen.
Joshua, is there anybody there that we can talk to that you can steal away before they walk into church?
This gentleman here would be willing to talk to us. He's the secretary of the church. Please come forward, sir. Come forward. You are live on television. That's the camera over there. So he's the secretary of the church, to my own understanding, and he understands the reason for the season. So, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
It is Palm Sunday. Tell Nigerians your name.
My name is Special Venerable Monsignor Evangelist Leke Awode. I'm the General Secretary of this great cathedral, CCC Central Cathedral, the regional headquarters of Celestial Church of Christ in the northern region.
This is the beginning of the Holy Week. What significance does this service, does this palm front and the entire thing mean to Celestial Church of Christ, particularly to Central Cathedral?
Okay, this palm we are carrying on the Palm Sunday signifies the triumphant entry of our Lord Jesus Christ into Jerusalem, showing us that Jesus Christ, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. And it's also marked the beginning of the Passion Week, where he suffered and carried the cross on our behalf of all mankind.
Thank you very much. You just heard from the gentleman. It's Palm Sunday to Christians, particularly to those in Nigeria, holds quite a significance. It is considered the most holiest week in the Christian calendar because of the sacrifice of Jesus Christ on the cross of Calvary, his way through Jerusalem, and all he had to do to fulfill his mission here on earth. Over to you, Queen.
Well, thank you so much, Joshua, for that update. And it's indeed a beautiful day as Nigerians are celebrating, the one and only Savior. So, yes, thank you, Joshua. And now let's go on a break. When we return, my favorite part, the strips. Stay with us.
You're welcome. Once again, it's the strips for Breakfast Extra. My name is Mazino and of course, Queen will be joining me. We'll be talking through this. Queen, are you excited for today's strips? They're not as, exaggerated as from other days, but today there's a very interesting one I'd like you to see. So, Queen, if you're with me, can we get started already? And of course, we'll have our very first strip up on the television now. Let's have it, guys. Our very first strip this morning comes, now this is a very interesting one. British loan, I back the deal. Remember, the president was off to the UK, London, where he was served some tea, and he served them Zobo back. But then it's also known that there were a couple of deals that were discussed, a couple of policies that were made around his travel and geared for Nigeria and, of course, Nigerians. Now, this is it. Now, he backed the deal. It's as simple as that. But if you notice what's happening under here, he's stepping back into Nigeria from the plane or wherever it is he's coming out from. But I hope Queen is here, because I need Queen to help me with some translations here, or what you think. I want to know what people out there are thinking about the strip. Can you see where he's stepping into? And do you think, or do you know what that indicates? Queen, do you want to help out?
Blood.
Why do you think?
Well, you know, when he was away, they were saying, you know, the insurgency, insecurity, and you know, talking about how the president is not around and, you know, the people are suffering, basically.
Yeah, exactly. We sort of saw a spike in attacks. There were attacks on military installations. A lot of bandits actually were gunned down, thankfully. But it just points to what's happening inside of Nigeria currently. There is a spike in insecurity. Why exactly? At a time when Nigeria is in the limelight, we've got the focus of the entire world on us. Maybe not the best time, but then again, it's good to see that it's being attended to. But why so frequent all of a sudden? We can't answer that question here and now, but we hope that this is not something that continues to persist. Hopefully they have they get a hang of it, and we won't be seeing these kinds of occurrences. Would like to know exactly what kind of loans and exactly how much and what we'll be paying back. Are we going to be paying back in blood? I didn't say that. I didn't mean that. Let's move on to our next strip for this morning, gentlemen. And mother-daughter. It's always Bulama from daughter-father. It's always Bulama from the Daily Trust with his very interesting take on what's happening inside of Nigeria. Daughter says to father, dad, in Nigerian politics, is Nigerian politics like football? Father says back to daughter, yes, but one team owns the referee, that team owns the pitch, and they also own the scoreboard. The newspaper he's holding here says, strangling opposition parties. Do you think you know to whom they're referring, Queen? Let us be you. You tell us what you think.
So I don't know much about football, but basically...
It's not about football. It's not about football.
I know it's not about football, but basically it looks like, you know, the opposition doesn't stand or doesn't have a fighting chance. It feels like one party is doing everything and, you know, everything.
Okay.
You know, the defections is just obvious.
We spoke about that this morning when we had the gentlemen from the APC who were telling us about the APC convention, and I think that's exactly what this is referring to. The APC convention seemed like an inter-party convention. Why do I say that? Because inside the APC you have everything from your referee to your scoreboard holder to your referee and everything. You've got all of that inside the APC as they were welcomed in from other parties. So basically, they own everything right now, it would seem. And that's what this cartoon is trying to express. Yeah, we've got the scoreboard, we've got the referees, we've got the pitch, everything belongs to us. So how can we not win? If you get what it's trying to say here. Bulaman always makes a very interesting take on what's happening inside of politics with this version of his strips, which is the father-daughter one, always present every single week. He's got more through the week, by the way, but we decided to take specifically this one. That tells you what's happening inside of Nigerian politics and where opposition lies. Currently, opposition is almost strangled, like it states here. But let's move to another one. I think we might have two of these, but we'll shift to another one. Thank you. Asuko, if I'm not mistaken, made this one during the week. And this is a depiction of the delegates when they went outside of the country only just last week to have some tea with the King of England. And as they were attended to with such a grand royal procession, such great pageantry, and everything was fluid, and it all went very well, rather swimmingly, if I do say. However, what is the situation here back home? I will point out the difference. First of all, it's not a meal this time, it's the people. That indicates exactly how the government, or what he's trying to say. What he's trying to say is what the government does with its citizens. We are that tax cow, that cash cow, that tax mechanism. We are the ones who are pulling these individuals. It would seem, by translation, that's what I'm trying to say. It would seem that the citizens are responsible for the government. The government are living laborious lives, luxurious ones, and we're pulling them through. And it's not just that we can or that citizenry are pulling them through, but if you notice the wheels, have you ever tried driving on a flat tire before? Just one flat tire. Queen, do you remember the experience? How difficult it was to shift out of first gear, if at all?
I came to a halt.
You came to a halt?
I came to a halt.
One flat tire. These aren't even flat tires, they're square tires, just to indicate how difficult it is for every Nigerian.
And looking at the picture that says abroad, is that the donkey that Jesus rode? I'm just saying. So let's just.
I don't know whether that's. He might have put that there.
It's Palm Sunday, meaning, of course, they have it easy. And, of course, at home, if the citizens are the one carrying the leaders in very uncomfortable situations, it's
I'm now very concerned about the facial expression on the ass there. I'm not very sure. Is he smiling or is he grimacing? Is he happy or is
he's lamenting, like, why you carry me here?
Well, I don't know. I'd like some interpretation from Asukwa on that one. But great cartoonist always manages to depict Nigeria in very interesting ways. Do we have another one? I'm sure that we do for today. Let's take a look at this. Still, it is Bulama, father-daughter. The situation of electricity in Nigeria is getting worse. I don't know what it's like in your band A. I'm rubber band. But what is it like in your area, Queen?
They take the light like 15 times a day, even though we're in band A. It is crazy. And for every time they take the light, you're concerned as to something not blowing up. And they apologize. We're working on it. We're fixing it. Give us an hour. Give us 2 weeks. Give us 2 days. And of course, we see the diesel price, full price. You have to put on the gen so that when you go to work, your fridge and your freezers are working so that the food that you spent money to buy don't go to waste. So it's literally, we're pulling with that square tire at the moment.
Yeah, the one from the previous one. I'll tell you something. The entire world is experiencing an energy crisis. We know this because of the, Strait of Hormuz being blocked and all of that. So yes, it will have its effect on everyday life. But the Nigerian situation is a very special one. The Nigerian situation with our power grid, which keeps collapsing every single time, and the promises we hear from the government. This was a political, manifesto by the APC government. We will fix power within a few years of being in power. Power. I guess it cancelled out. Power cancelled out power. But that's what they said. But here we are, them campaigning for another 4 years, come 2027, and saying that we will fix power in only a few. Is back to the same promise. Now, if only all these apologies were watts, you can imagine how much power we would have.
We're going to have a whole solar in the whole world.
Mind you, the president's Aso Villa has been shifted from off of the national grid. Now it works on solar power. So now you get your wahala. Dad, when will the light come back? Well, when apologies start to power.
They need to function so they can fix our problems. So they need solar.
Well, I have so much to say about that, but it's not palatable. I'm not going to say it. Hopefully, this is self-explanatory. I'm not going to do much about that one, but he's not very happy, is he? Let's take another one, guys. Let's talk about this. Standard Organization of Nigeria, their responsibility is to make sure that every product that's out there is of Nigerian standard. It is not detrimental to the people that are buying it, and of course, you can always complain if you want. Let's take a look at this picture here, and I think this is also a Sukwa from Business Day, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is. Business Day. Says, what, you mean you bought substandard tires? My friend, that's suicide. This might be some authority of some sort who's driving in the Standard Organization of Nigeria car, and then his driver is telling him, it's not my fault, sir. I saw your logo on it and I bought it. How many times have you had bought products and had cause to complain about the standards that are with that product? But then we have an entire authority that's set to make sure that these standards are set up right. I don't know if this is a personal experience of yours, Queen, but most Nigerians are complaining that standards are dropping. Is it because of the economy? And then you also, on some of these, or most of these products, have the stamp of the SON. Do we still need the SON at this point? Are they doing their jobs, or is it just rubber stamp on everything and let's just get it out there? Have you had any personal experience?
Well, to be fair, this particular cartoon says a lot. And if we start talking about it, you can see the in-depth of corruption. Let's even go to the basics. I think few years ago, surfing the internet, you see where they were talking about skincare products that has the NAFDAC number on it. And people come out to say, I have skin cancer or my skin burnt because they're trying to look a certain way. You see hospitals where people go for surgery, some specific surgery, and people die for complications. And, you know, these people have certification to practice in whatever area. And, you know, tires, everything is substandard. Even down to alcohol. We hear that when they're importing alcohol to Nigeria, allegedly, the alcohol that they put for us is somewhat reduced or increased or sugar added so that we buy more. Yeah. Okay. So there's just, when it just comes to Nigeria, it's like,
anything
just
goes?
take. Anything we give you, just take. And then they stamp and let's not just go there, man.
An unfortunate situation. Well, maybe we should have an entire segment with the authority of the Standard Organization of Nigeria, so we know exactly what their duties are and how products pass through their supervision.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if this is the last take we have.
We have one more.
We do have one more, don't we? Good. Let's go international now. My best conversation is always about this guy here. That guy, that's the new guy, the new Khamenei, Ayatollah. Are you making a deal or not? It's like almost like always a warning when Trump speaks to anybody. There are talks happening between, it would seem, there are talks happening between Washington and Tehran, but while that is going on, there's still hostilities that are being directed to the Iranians. And these talks are happening, while these talks are happening between Iran and America, there is none such happening between Israel and America. So the bombings continue, they're still not letting up, and Iran is forced into a very interesting position here where we might want to negotiate, but you guys are still bombarding us. That threat is a bit too much. If you want us to speak, then let's speak. There are movements within the Gulf states to also join in the fracas, and the rest of the world is hoping that this does not happen. But the Strait of Hormuz is still closed, and Iran is asking on their side, what we want is full control of the Strait of Hormuz. No other, no concessions, nothing. America is saying, well, a totally different story. I don't know what your position is on the war. We're finally calling it a war, Queen. So what's your position on it? What do you think is happening or might happen? By the way,
all I can say is it looks like there are talks. Oh, there's a conversation going on. No, there's no conversation. In the process of all this negotiation, we have escalation in the air. Things are already going. So it's like, is the conversation even working or not? Because
I will tell you something. But I do believe that the U.S. are in a very precarious situation, and they want this negotiation more. The Iranians, well, from history, you know, have been very stubborn. And once they get started, they don't want to stop. We're going to continue, is what they're saying. That's their position. They're like, no. Let's go on. Should want to play. Let's play hardball. And that's what's continuing currently.
Yeah.
However, it's not just affecting the rest of the world, it's also affecting them. It's affecting everybody else, except Russia. And noting that this is what they caused, that's why they are in the position to want to negotiate. There are ground troops that are positioned currently in the midst of negotiation.
Yeah.
They landed only just at the start of this weekend. Nobody knows exactly what's going to happen, especially that the United States President Donald Trump is saying that he doesn't want this war to extend past 6 weeks. We're at the 4-week timeline now. So whatever happens in the next 2 weeks could either be one of two things. It could be well articulated and interpreted between the two countries, and then a settlement could be reached, or it could just be desperate on the side of the U.S. And if that desperation manifests, it's going to affect everybody because you're buying fuel at 1,400 naira now. I hate to think what's going to happen then. So we're all involved, whether we like it or not. It's not a foreign cartoon. It actually affects you and I, our pockets, our Uber fare, how much we buy food at mile 12, and every single thing. School fees is, by the way, next month. Just letting you know that you might be thinking about some...
I'm an aunt.
Auntie, don't you pay school fees?
No, I don't.
For nobody?
No.
Haba now, come on.
I buy snacks.
Start practicing.
I buy snacks, not school fees. No.
This is good practice. In any case, that's our strips for this Sunday. This week, thank you very much. Next week, we'll have another round of strips, interesting ones picked out from through the week, so we can share with all of our viewers here. If I'm not mistaken, we've got one more segment to go inside of this Sunday edition for Breakfast Extra, and we'll be taking that now.
Well, thank you for staying with us, and welcome back from the Street of the Strips. Now, tension is rising in the Aso-C community following an alleged reprisal attack that has left residents shaken and living in fear. Reports indicate that the violence erupted after a series of disputes, escalating into a coordinated attack that has disrupted daily life in the area. Eyewitnesses describe scenes of chaos, with properties destroyed and families forced to flee for safety. While security agencies have since moved in, many residents say the fear of further attacks still lingers.
Now, beyond the immediate destruction, this incident raises deeper concerns about community safety, conflict resolution, and also growing pattern of retaliatory violence in local communities. There are also questions about the response time of security operatives, which we'll discuss here today. There's also the underlying causes of the conflict and what measures are being put in place to prevent a recurrence and restore confidence among the residents. Now, joining us to have a conversation on this, we have Mr. Daniel Isabello. I hope I got that name correctly. My apologies. But he is the ward head of Kucha Asupada. That's Daniel Isabello. Mr. Daniel Isabello, you're welcome. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. So, let's get a picture, an exact picture of first how this happened. What exactly was the initial instance and how it spiraled out into what we have here now?
A confrontation between the owner of this land and a suspected Fulani man who we have not confirmed if he's dead or alive, metamorphosed into a communal clash that led to a couple of houses torched and a couple of individuals dead and injured.
Perpetual fear still hangs over residents of the Aso-C axis in the Maraba area of Nasarawa State, following a reprisal attack allegedly carried out by suspected herdsmen on the community. Eyewitnesses who recounted the incident say chaos broke out after an altercation between a local vigilante member and the herdsman who had reportedly entered the resident's pig farm. They say the confrontation quickly escalated, leading to the attack, during which several houses were set on fire and properties destroyed.
We cannot sleep with our two eyes closed. It was yesterday I even came from my working place on hearing that there is a problem in my community.
Entire community has been safe, like no record of such like this. But as at yesterday, I don't feel safe. Not just me, so many people, they don't feel safe. Most people, they are coming and they are taking their things away.
While there is now relative calm in the area, residents say they live in constant fear, unsure when the attackers might return.
My house was burned. I can't say why or I can't say how, because I'm not part of what happened. I don't even know the man that did it. We just community members together. But my house is part of the house that they burned down. Everything, even needle, I did not take out of the house.
Make I understand something. The fire spread from that house, enter your house.
Now those are going. Now then they put fire house by house. No be spread. Now then they use fuel. Now fuel they use.
Residents are now calling on security agencies to intensify patrols and ensure there is no repetition of the occurrence. They, however, urge well-spirited Nigerians to assist as they struggle to rebuild their lives amid lingering fear. In Abuja, for News Central, Joshua Imarai.
Apologies for that mix-up from before. That was a package that we had to run, put together by Joshua Imarai. Joshua Imarai also joins us now to have this conversation. Alongside Joshua Imarai, like I noted from before, is also Mr. Daniel Isabello, who's joining us from the community. Mr. Joshua, thank you very much for joining. Joshua and Daniel, thank you very much for joining us. I had asked the question from earlier, Mr. Daniel, about the instance that transpired. We have seen the package from Joshua. We're going to get to that in just a bit. But tell us exactly, from your viewpoint, being a ward member, what had happened exactly and how it spiraled out of control. Mr. Daniel Esabelo? Yes, we can.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I want to appreciate you for this moment. I am by name Daniel Esabelo, a ward head of Kucha community in Aso-C. And I would like to... Hello?
Go ahead.
We can hear you.
Go ahead, Daniel.
Okay. I would like to tell you what happens. Based on the reported that I heard, I was told, because I was not in the scene, I saw it when I was told that this is what happens. I have to rush to see the scene. Based on what happened is this. The mango was the cause of everything, that the Fulani herdsmen came to cut down the mango for the cow to eat. Then the owner now asked, why are you destroying the mango? And as a result of that, the mango was shown to me. The Fulani man now started abusing him, and he rushed quickly to go and disturb or to cut down that particular person that speak. Now, in form of abusing, then he pursued the man down to his house. He rushed into his house, brought out the gun, and then released bullets off here twice so that it would scare the Fulani man to go back, but it proved abortive, and there was nothing he could do other than to shoot, and the Fulani man died. And because of it, they now went back and mobilized themselves, came back in mass, started burning house to house, cutting people, destroying people's properties that were there. And then not until when the youth now of that particular area, Kucha community, came in and did what they did to stop them. As we are there, then the military men came down and calmed the situation down. Actually, what happened is that because the two parties only know the type of conversation that they had, that is, the Fulani herdsman and the person that cut that man off. So, sir, that is exactly what I can tell you now. And actually now, not all people are living in there now. Even today, right from that day, many people are leaving the scene. Many people are leaving the community, running away in order to secure their life or to run for their life. So now the community is in a kind of disarray because people now are panicking in that particular area because we are crying for government to come to our aid so that it will help these people that lost their lives and property. Right now, what I know from the history or from what I was gathered, the news that I gathered, the Fulani herdsmen, 3 of them died and many people died because some of them, even right now, are in the hospital, in Federal Medical Center, some are in National Hospital. Right now, the dead recorded are many. But we give God the glory because the situation has come. And we pray that such ugly things should not happen in this community again.
Right.
Thank you, and God bless you, sir.
Joshua, based on the account that Mr. Daniel has given, is there anything missing, or this really started because of a mango tree?
Based on what I gathered, what Mr. Daniel said is not far from what I heard transpired. Well, you saw the stand-up I did at the beginning of the package. That was where it all started. From what I gathered, Fulani herdsman with his cow was on that particular land. The Fulani herdsman tried cutting the branches of that land, which we heard serves as a refuge to the farmland of that particular man who was involved and he serves as a covering to his pig. So while the Fulani man was on what he was doing, the owner of the land confronted the man, and it resulted into an altercation that, according to what I heard, that the Fulani man tried approaching the man and tried stabbing him with his cutlass. It got to a point, it metamorphosed into something that could not be controlled, and the Fulani man gave the owner of the land a chase. In turn, the owner of the land had to run to his house, where he grabbed his double barrel. And based on what I heard, while he grabbed that double barrel, he tried warning of the Fulani man. He shot twice in the air, but the Fulani man, according to what I heard, was still resilient, wanting to stab the man. That prompted the man to return in defense and he shot the Fulani man. And based on what we are hearing, according to Mr. Daniel, the man is no longer alive. And from there, after the Fulani men who accompanied one of the Fulani men that was involved in that situation, after he saw the man was dead, he went back to report to his community. In turn, the community of the Fulani men, they mobilized and they came to that community where they unleashed mayhem by torching houses. Nothing less than 5 houses were torched as a result of that altercation. And also, they began cutting and stabbing people. There was a house I went to, based on what I heard and what we saw. The resident of that home was a woman and a child, because from what we gathered, the woman was widowed. And the Fulani man, in turn, took his knife, slashed the woman, and slashed the son. They were also touching several houses, burning vehicles, and personal effect of some people in that area. So that was what we heard. And from what we saw, the destruction caused as a result of that confrontation is spanning into millions. And most of the people who are in that area, who has a means of livelihood, it was also destroyed. That was what we gathered.
Joshua, this is such a grim picture that has been painted by both you and Mr. Daniel. And in all of this, nobody has said, and I'm sure it took quite a while, but where were the authorities? Where was the Nigerian police in all of this? It seemed like there are 2 different instances. There was the genesis, and then there was the reprisal. So was there no interaction with the police by the community before that reprisal happened? And what's happened since after?
Well, this whole incident just happened within hours, and it was rapid. From the moment the Fulani man attacked the man, and the moment the man had to shoot the Fulani man, and the moment that the fellow of the Fulani man went back to the community, it just happened sporadically that you could not contain it within minutes. So based on what we had was that while the community was under that reprisal attack, they radioed some of the policemen, and they confirmed to us that the policemen whom they called, they could not withstand the intensity of the Fulani men's attack. From what we gathered, the mayhem was already done, the destruction was done before the members of the Nigerian army had to swoop in that community, where they in turn moved to the encampment of the Fulani men, where they had to speak with them for the whole situation to subside. What we gathered at first was that the policemen who came earlier could not curtail the attack. It spun out of the control of the policemen. They had to radio for support that resulted into the Nigerian Armed Forces coming into that community to maintain stability.
What kind of weapons were the Fulani herdsmen using that the police could not withstand them? I mean, the police have guns, and I can't imagine that these herdsmen have anything more than machetes.
Well, I cannot confirm what they held, but based on what I heard, they were not armed. The only thing they brought to that community was their machete and their fuel and their igniter to burn houses.
Just a second now, Joshua.
What we gathered so far was none of them were armed, and they came in numbers, a good number.
Okay.
You know, when such a thing happens, they always utilize this maximum amount of number they can muster to come to that community. So from what we gathered, they came in their numbers and resulted into touching the houses of the residents. The residents who were there also confirmed to me that they saw them moving from house to house, burning houses, and rendering people homeless.
Right. Well, Mr. Daniel, what I want to ask is, based on what you were told, since you were not at the scene, what kind of weapons did they use, apart from what Joshua said, the torch, the machete, and all that? And the fact that this situation started from a mango tree is disheartening. And do you Have you confirmed how many casualties we've had in the community? Because we've been told that people are fleeing and all that. And how was, like Mazino said, the security or the authorities not able to contain this large crowd if they had guns? Mr. Daniel.
Actually, the weapons they hold that day were cutlasses, machetes, petrol that they were holding, and they were burning house to house. In fact, they came out in a large number because as they were there, we saw Fulani headsmen coming in from different angles, coming to attack. That is what happens. The issue of the these people that came, that is the policemen, they came and they hold armed, but they could not release. Even in the process, they even injured one police officer in that particular scene. He had to run away and run for his life. At that particular point, I think the life that I lost, not even thinking, the life as of that day, 5 lives were lost. But as of yesterday, again, we had those that were in the hospital. Another one died yesterday. And there is another one now that I'm just receiving the report that he is on oxygen in National Hospital. Many casualties, but the life that lost were 6 now that I have that authentic this thing that the people that have died. So that is what I have. But thank God for the intervention of the armed men that came and then calmed the situation. That is what I have to tell you.
Okay, Daniel, so what's the situation now? Are people beginning to return to the community? Has the police or the army put any kind of order in place? Are they also after the perpetrators?
Okay, that very day they came, and after the situation have calmed, they went back to their outposts and remained there. Because truly up to now, we cannot see any military man or force man hanging in that area because we are only left like that. Houses across, in fact, many of the houses, they have left their houses, flee to another different destination. Even this morning, right now that I'm coming for this interview, I see cars packing more loads out from that particular community. In a whole community, I think as of yesterday that we held a meeting, it is only 4 men that are remaining in a large community because many people are no longer staying, and then they are calling. We are calling with loud voice that please, people should come because the peace have returned. Only that we are not seeing the uniform men on ground.
Right.
But for the fact of the youths are trying their best to protect their territory.
Right. Joshua, were you able to talk to any of the military personnel that were on ground that day? What are the assurances, if there were any, giving to the residents as to this not happening again? Because this is not about, it's about a mango tree. Mm-hmm. What was their response to this situation?
Queen, it will surprise you if I tell you that on the 2 attempts, particularly 3 attempts I was in that community, I didn't come across any security operative. I took a stroll around the community to observe things with my own eyes, and from what I could see, the residents of that area were manning their own security by themselves. They have this security arrangement where they have vigilantes with those vigilante members to be members of that same community. And from what we discovered, no policeman was stationed there, no men of the Nigerian army was stationed there. We didn't see any of them. None of them were there. And this also heightened the fears of the residents of the community who say they could not sleep with their 2 eyes closed.
Wow. I am speechless as to...
Speechless is the word.
So
what about now? Has there been any communication from the authorities, the police or the army, regarding the safety of the community? Has the state governor even said anything at all?
Well, the state governor hasn't said anything. Was it on Friday Saturday? The state governor was in Abuja for the National Convention of the All Progressive Congress. He hasn't said anything. No statement has emanated from the state governor. The information from the Nigerian police seems sketchy at this moment because they've not released any official statement that I'm aware of. So from the quarters of the security operatives and the state governor, we are still seeing this loud, deafening silence from them.
We do hope that peace actual peace does return to this community, the Aso-C community. And well, our hearts go out to anyone who's lost family or lost property, because it's rather disheartening to once again note that this was all just from one single mango tree and a confrontation or disturbance. But thank you very much for the report that you brought to us earlier in the week, Joshua.
Yeah,
and thank you, Mr. Daniel Isabello, for joining us to give us the details that you have shared with us inside of this segment. We'll continue to follow this, and hopefully it comes to a positive end for all and the perpetrators are put to book. Thank you once again, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank
I
you very
must, yes, indeed. It's a very disheartening story. I can't imagine that this is what has emanated from just a simple, hey, don't pluck the mango. I remember as kids.
Pluck the mango? It wasn't even the mango to eat.
No, it wasn't.
It was for the cows. So you were cutting the branches, which of course, on someone's land. And if you're a farmer, you use that to shield yourself.
Yeah.
So the day just went from happy to gloom.
I'll tell you a story. You see, the way we see these issues, these things, these little instances, don't cut my tree and all, to us might seem very outer worldly, as in it's just an ordinary mango tree. But over the week last week, I took the opportunity to go across Nigeria, and I was able to meet with people, share their lives, and also get to talk to them and see what matters to them. For you and I were complaining about Uber fare, but you would understand when a person says he's complaining about his mango branch, because that to him is life. That to him is, So I understand the implications and how heavy it might seem to them if somebody wants to, destroy your property by name of your tree. But then there's also another angle to this, that the cows that you eat, and on this occasion I was at the Obudu Cattle Ranch, and I realized something. I spoke to a herder who told me that he trekked all the way from Bauchi to Cross River State, the ranch specifically, and to them this is what they have to do. They have no other means of living, so they have to transport these cows and they have to feed them all through the way. So they also do have their challenges. There's also the communication breakdown, because I had to speak with this guy in total broken English. It wasn't even broken English.
Yes, and there was
a piece of Hausa here and there.
There was a time a few weeks ago where they were talking about having grazing areas for people.
Ranches.
So they don't have to go through all this, because again, it's chaotic,
and
having to nurture these cows and everything.
There is no provision for these.
So anger met anger on a bad day.
Frustration and anger.
It is.
And it just combusted. We do hope that the community returns to safety. We'll continue to follow that story. Would like to end the show on this note and say thank you to everyone who's joined us since yesterday.
Yes.
Our producers are absolutely ecstatic that we've come to the end of the show. A couple of them are in the background here. But we will be leaving you guys in the able hands of our, I want to say co-hosts, but colleagues for the weekday.
Yes.
And that's Olive, Jonathan, and Benga Gbarwa. They'll be joining.
And of course, it's the president's birthday. We're hoping that, we're going to share some light and show his beautiful face. Happy birthday, Mr. President.
Share some what now? Light? The light.
Light.
Power.
Yes.
Watts. Electricity. That's all I want on your birthday, Mr. President. Thank you very much. Today, we will be leaving you guys with a takeout. You're going to find it interesting. It's only a couple of seconds long. But this is our takeout for you from during the week. Goodbye, everybody.
Au revoir.